Thanks for having me. I've never been in front of such a big screen. We don't have this big screen in Lithuania, so I'm already envious. I wanted to ask two questions. I cannot see anything, but I imagine you are there, so you can do whatever you want. But I want to ask, are you right now on your mobile phones, on laptops working? No, okay, I believe you. Very good. The second question is this. Have you heard, raise your hands, I will do my best to see. Have you heard about the Days? It's an app. I don't see many hands. Okay, very good. You will hear about it eventually, and I believe quite soon. So Days is the new cool app of the moment. The waiting list for this app, it launched just like very recently. The waiting list for this app was 150, 160,000 people. And I can assure you that most of them are pretty young, very young. So most of us won't get it. I will show you the screens. Horrible, insane. So this is basic messaging app with idea that you can throw things on the screen, not just politely iMessage like we old people do, but just throw things out there and create quizzes, blah blah blah. You can easily think of various ways how to use it. So it's a big deal. It's exploding. We'll see if it happens to be the new, I don't know, Threads or the new Be Real, which we don't remember, right? But as marketers, we look at it and already say, okay, let's start imagining our ads on it. So this is very new. This is very fresh thing. This is like the newest cool app. So what can we do about it? And I'm asking you to pause. Oh, I see people right now. Good, you're there. This is way better. So let's pause before we get overexcited what to do with this app. I believe we are very good at creating hype. When I say we, I'm an ad man for the past 20 plus years. I believe most of you are either from marketing or advertising particularly. We're very good at creating apps. This is our job. We have to hype up things, insanely bad things, terrible things, awful things. We pretend it's amazing. But we also fall victim to it quite easily, like all people do. We know how the hype machine is constructed, but still got tricked all the time, right? Tricked into buying, tricked into believing that new things are exciting. I think marketing people are obsessed with the new, and I'm not opposing the speaker before because I agree to everything that he said, but I want to take a bit different angle. So yeah, we are obsessed with the new, and who am I to say? I called one of my agencies, advertising agencies, new. The name is new. So, but that was when I was younger. I believe that we are obsessed with the new because we are overexposed with many things. We're always reading trend reports and searching what's new and always checking out on things. And the person who is most tired of any ads is the marketing director or the people who work with the brand because they watch it every day or they see the process and they get tired of ads, whereas there's little to no evidence that people get tired from certain campaign. They never get tired because they don't care. They just, don't pay much attention to it. But we get tired and we decide to create a new campaign. Sometimes it happens like this. We are overexposed. We have a distorted kind of view, and we are bored. We are easily bored. We need always to be stimulated. Regular people are not obsessed with the new, like you heard before. And I believe new is fine, but we're so fixated on it. The ads, you'll be watching amazing ads, the newest, latest ads, after me, I believe, yeah? Awards, trends, films, anything that's new, books even, we read books which are currently translated or published, not classics, mostly. And every single conference is about new. New is super exciting. Everybody's talking about new, upcoming technology and new ideas. And that's very good. But maybe every new fad, every new trend, every new hype, every new hashtag makes us more and more uniform because we're all of us looking into the same direction. And also new is impossible to keep up. You're always behind, especially these days with the latest trends and hashtags. And if you're not using TikTok, you're already are very old, and you don't get most of the things, and you are, completely waste of space and body, and it overwhelms us. There's too much of it. It misleadingly becomes a virtue in itself. New is better because it's fresh, unseen, and so on and so forth. It disregards tried and tested. It lasts for minutes because it changes so fast and gets old so fast. And and all this is uninteresting, right? All this boring. Let's talk about some old movie. Let's talk about old trend or old fashion. Both cocktail and old fashion. So all this universally derided. We are in a culture which champions and is obsessed with youth in many, many ways, with youth and with newness, right? And so the old is derided and it's hard to market, and all this cringe, Young people think that, oh my God, old people. I remember being young once, and I believe I've never seen, when I was in my teens, I've never noticed people who are over 30, let's say. They don't exist to me. They're like trees walking around. I don't care about old people with the sticks and, semi-blind. So to say to someone, when you show something or share something, so old, or you're so old, this is a killer insult. There's no worse insult in this society which champions the young and new. So, but I beg you to reconsider. Mainly I'm begging you to reconsider because I'm getting old and you're getting old as we speak every day. So maybe all this forgotten, all this ignored, all this unstudied, therefore it is full of surprises. This is the paradoxical take. We don't care about what happened before, but maybe that should be the place where we are looking for inspiration and looking for some things which actually are way newer than this current thing that everybody's talking about. So we're drunk on newness, idiotically ignoring the oldness. So I have a plan. For the next 23 minutes, I have 23 minutes. I hope I will make it. I'm saying always look back. Always look back. And I want to run through advertising history. You know some of the stories, definitely. But I taught a course in Lithuania about advertising history. And when I say history, I already see people yawning. Oh my God, no history. Oh my God, that's terrible. Bear with me, it's quite interesting. I will show you. I believe we learned so much in the past, we as human species, and we forgotten everything, and we have to relearn it and see, oh my God, this is a new thing. But when you look back, you see, well, it's been done. And gradually, as you grow older, you realize everything's been done. So it's very wise to look back and steal from the past, not from the current thing that's happening. That's what I'm trying to say. So let's take a quick, shallow, but fun look at what happened before, and maybe we can remember some things back, which I believe I have forgotten. I'm not very familiar with advertising marketing situation in Poland, but I suppose it's quite, in a sense, it's similar throughout the Western countries. We have the same issues. Maybe budgets differ, but everything else is almost the same. So it's good to know, first thing, there will be 18, so you can count and you will know when I will stop speaking. That's also a very important thing, to know when the things will end. Crucially important. So first thing, it's good to know for us to know that advertising actually preceded the content. So Theophrast Renaudot, what a name. This guy in 17th century published the first newspaper. So the beginning of mass media, we might say. And in that newspaper, he had a lot of job offers and people advertising, themselves, that I can make a perfectly good coffin for you, and so on and so forth. So it was basically a classified kind of thing. So he thought that maybe to add some spice to it, I can add some news, what's happening around that area. It was in France. So first ads, and then news as some, added value, but not the newspaper, because in newspaper, in English, it's news, on paper. No, first is ads. Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin from $100 bill? Of course, he's the founding father of the United States in 18th century, but he was also a Renaissance man. He did many, many things. And he was a publisher, a very famous and successful publisher. And he published the first magazine in America. And this is the like idealistic time for advertising. Imagine in every issue, in the end of that issue, there was an advertisement for the upcoming ads next week or next month. Imagine that. People were reading like, oh my God, this new, I don't know, Kellogg's ad is coming up next week. I gotta see it, you know? Crazy, crazy. So he started using illustrations and headlines in his newspapers and announced new advertisements and published first magazine, as I mentioned. Manchester Guardian, right now, some of you might read The Guardian, one of the most popular websites, news websites in the world. So it started in Manchester and was called Manchester Guardian, mid of 19th century, beginning of 19th century. And also interesting to see that for a very long time, and it was very common in Britain, the first page was classifieds. There were classifieds, I don't know if you see anything over there, but there were classifieds. And then only in somewhere further down the line, there were news. So good to remember, huh? We're from very interesting and good and meaningful industry, right? The second thing, ads can be indistinguishable from art or content. We tend to forget that. This is a painting from mid-19th century by Dannhauser. It's called Liszt at the Piano. Liszt, the famous pianist, the rock star pianist. And it seems like, okay, pretty average, pretty good, I don't know how to rate it. Normal painting, right? But look closely and this is what you see. So the name Liszt at the Piano is actually a very meaningful one because this particular painting was commissioned by Conrad Graf, who happens to make pianos. And you can see, if you zoom in, there's a logo of Conrad Graf. So this is actually an ad for Conrad Graf hung in the gallery as a work of art, and it's full of influencers. It's full of influencers. You can see Alexandre Dumas, and some of them didn't live at the same time, you know? That's the greatest thing. Nobody asked for permission, I'm 100% sure about that. There's a bust of Beethoven. You can see Jeanne d'Arc. Liszt is playing hard on piano, and many Paganini and what have you. So, influencers posing with the product. You've heard that, right? Since 19th century. Then, radio is huge in 1930s. It's bigger than anything. It's top medium in the United States. And they quickly realized that there's a lot of space in radio and a certain audience, which is called housewives at that moment, who should be entertained and probably sold things too. So this is how soap operas evolve. Soap operas, you know, we used to see soap operas. Right now, I probably don't use anymore soap operas. We don't say, I'm watching soap opera on Netflix. No, the series or I don't know how else we can call it. So soap operas appear because soap brands and Colgate and things like that were actually sponsors of those soap operas. But what's interesting is that in the 1930s, there were 50 different soap operas happening at the same time on radios in the United States. An amazing amount of content, which right now is completely normal, but back in the days it was, you know, it was even more normal, and we don't have that many radio series on radio, you know, we just have talks, news, and music. It's also an interesting thing to remember and think about it. Maybe brands can do something about it. A show where Clara, Lou, and Em, this is the first show, there were, you know, just three friends having their lives and just showing some washing powders and things like that. But also what they did, this is an integrated media campaign because they were on radio, but you have to show them somehow, and they had these newspaper comics. So back in the day, I was very surprised that they were doing those things. And then you get the idea that, oh my God, we should look back way more often than we do. Okay, honesty and bluntness pays off. In advertising, we tend to lie a little bit. There's a saying that advertising is truth well told, right? Truth well told is already something shady about it. But we're used to shady things right now, especially in politics, right? Worldwide. 80s, 70s, Johnny Powers is considered to be the first ad man, first copywriter, so the first guy who got money for his work ever, I don't know how they picked him like the first one, but still he's a legend. And he created this distinctive advertising style, short, to the point, sincere, and he said fine writing is offensive. Writing, very elaborately or like Baroque-like is offensive to the audience. And look at these ads. This ad is for ties. They're not as good as they look, but they're good enough. 25 cents. Or for sale, we are bankrupt. Look at desperation. This man is about to die. You gotta buy something. Say, we are bankrupt. This announcement will bring our creditors down to our necks. But if you come and buy tomorrow, we shall have the money to meet them. If not, we will go to the wall, Another thing, mascots. I'm not sure how you're doing with mascots for the brands in Poland. It's kind of old school thing. In Lithuania, we barely have a few famous mascots right now, which would be on air. But mascots are amazing, and it's one of the best brand assets you can ever create. You can, if you're lucky, if you manage to pull it off. But I want to show you like the ultimate mascot. 1890s. So NW&R were tasked to create an ad for Oreo's Nabisco biscuits. Nabisco biscuits. They're produced by Oreo, the same company. The biscuits were shocking at that time because they managed to seal them so they don't, get wet and soggy, and you can have crisp biscuits. This was shocking for the people back in the day. Talking about appreciating things, right? So next time you have a biscuit, remember this. It's amazing. It's crisp. So they packaged it and said, oh my God, we need something, this is big news. So they created this slicker boy who never gets wet. And he never smiles, by the way. A kid, check, but never smiles. Wow, wrong for these times, not good. So the funniest thing here is when in the United States, they did their research in 20th century, they asked people, who is the biggest icon ever to live in the United States, including presidents, including stars. Slicker boy was #1. So they repeated ad nauseum for 50 years. The slicker boy was everywhere, for 30 years probably. And then you get the results. Everybody's like, yeah, slicker boy. Slicker boy is the hero of the United States. This is the #1 icon. Can you imagine? And this guy, just the end of 19th century, Bibendum, or the tire man, or Michelin man. Michelin, for some of us right now, is probably even more associated with restaurants and hotels recommendations. But back in the day, it was, of course, a tire company, and they had this mascot. But the funniest thing here is, I will show you how they looked when they were a promo team. A bit scary, right, for the kids, I guess. And there were many, as you know, there were many mascots throughout the ages. The United States is where they tend to happen. The cowboy, all of them, some of them at least you will know. And I'm just, leaving this and saying the mascots. Are we done with them, or is it a pretty good idea when you pull it right? Old is explained with the new. Old is always explained with the new. That was the lesson we learned very early with advertising. And this is one of the first ads for the car. Dispense with the horse, it said. It doesn't say technological achievement or something like that. Dispense with the horse. For us, it's strange to see this kind of ad. And it's usually how it happens. When you have some usual advancement in the product, we say the better, the faster, brighter, whiter, greener, etc. When we have something radical like this, we try to compare it, to get something people to, oh, this works like a horse, but it's better. Okay, I get it. So, for example, when they had TVs were a new thing, and it's a strange thing to have in your room. Imagine the first people who were having TVs. It's almost like a portal to a different world, I guess. It's a strange thing happening there. So they designed on purpose. They designed those TVs as furniture. They were big. The monitor was small, but they were big, just to feel homey and in place. And this is not the ad that iPod, when they launched the iPod, had. They didn't say, the world's first portable media player, or some boring kind of shit. They said, 1,000 songs in your pocket. Yeah? Easy to get it. You don't have to go into details of this technological thing. It's a benefit, it's not an innovation. So then, grand ambitions equals grand attention. And this was learned very early. So in 20th century, children's food manufacturer Madeline pays $1,500 to get a balloon in the air and just to fly amazingly. And people would look and say, oh my God, Melvin Food, I need to get that for my kid. Probably it worked, but very early we sensed that grand gestures do make an impact. And this was, I don't know if you're familiar with this thing, but for 10 years, André Citroën managed to pull this crazy thing off. He put the, not logo, but the words, the letters of Citroën on Eiffel Tower. For 10 years, imagine waking up and going to sleep and seeing this beaming, and then you have to buy the car, you know? Bad days for Renault. We tend to forget also that outdoor ads are interactive ads. We always think about outdoor as a static kind of thing. It's there, it's a poster. It's a poster in a big size, usually how it works. But even back in the 50s, they were trying to make something out of this poster. Of course, they're naive, they're pretty quite simple, but still, you know, look at this carnation ice cream. It's tasty, it's almost flying into your mouth. In the 90s, we got very clever. This is the ad for the shelter of homeless people. They hung the clothes on the billboard. They had the ladder, and throughout the days, the clothes gradually disappeared, revealing the message. Now you know how desperate homeless people are to keep warm. And this, from the 90s, the amazing thing here, you get it, yeah, this is the vacuum cleaner. You get it straight away. It's called Vampiroso, by the way. Cool name, right? But you don't have to understand, I don't know what language it is, Dutch or Flemish, doesn't matter, we don't care. We get the idea, poor granny. But this is what outdoor should be like. We've forgotten this. This is amazing. This is a hit on social media instantly, if it happened today. But this was done back in the 90s. We also forget how we have an amazing power to create even social norms with advertising. We tend to discard ads as something more like spam-like or some trash, and most of the ads are trash and spam and awful. But we can, when we really put our minds to it, we can create magic. And I want to remind, and for some it will be a new story, and sorry, this is the warning, you will not look at the engagement the same way. So this is the story, very sad story. Back in the 1950s, some 40s, the beers have this thing on their hands called diamonds, but they're not very valuable at that point at that point, they're not very valuable, so we invite the agency and say, look, we have diamonds, we think we can make a good business out of it, but you need to create the value. Okay, so create the value for the diamond. And the agency comes up with the idea, very simple slogan at that time, by the way, created by the woman, which was not very common. And the agency man was saying, we don't get it, this is nonsense. And it became an icon. A diamond is forever. That was the message, a diamond is forever. And there's a tricky thing in it. So they created situations where they showed that how should you use diamond? With diamond you propose. That was the advertising message. People do not propose up until that time with diamonds necessarily. That wasn't a thing. So the diamond ring is how you propose, how you declare your eternal love. But if you want to declare your eternal love, you have to spend at least 2 salaries. They were actually telling you how much you should spend on a diamond ring, not 1 salary. You fool, 2 salaries. Later they increased, of course, to 3 salaries and so on and so forth. So more you love, more salaries you give away. And the cleverest thing, they actually pushed very hard. They communicated. They talked about that only a really bad person can return a diamond. So whatever happens, if it doesn't go well, you know, love dies, you stay with that diamond. You never return it. You never sell it. So when you have something which you cannot sell, the value is insane. You know? You cannot return it. You just buy it with 2 or 3 salaries every time. Okay, so that's the story of a diamond. Sorry if I spoiled you some romance, but I believe we are, too weak to resist this beauty. Also, consistency is the queen, and also singing helps. I want to show you one example. This is Chevrolet in 1949. Imagine the patience of marketeers at that time for a decade, that means 12 years, I believe it was every weekday, they had a talk show with Dinah Shore where she begins the show by singing a jingle about Chevrolet. I will show you this example. I have to warn you, it's 90 seconds long. So definitely in the middle of it, you will look at your phone because you will be completely out of energy. This is a long spot. But look how amazingly it will end, and think about it. Imagine this kind of consistency and this kind of everyday reminder of how amazing your product is. I hope it works. Yes.
See the USA in your Chevrolet. America is asking you to call. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA. America's the greatest land of all. On a highway or a road along a levee. Performance is sweeter, nothing can beat her. Life is completer in a Chevy. So make a date today to see the USA. See it in your Chevrolet.
Traveling east, traveling west, wherever you go, Chevy service is best. Southward or north, near place or far, there's a Chevrolet dealer for your Chevrolet car.
See the USA in your Chevrolet. The Rockies way out west are calling you. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA, where fields of golden wheat pass in review. Whether traveling light or with a load that's heavy, performance is sweeter, nothing can beat her. Life is completer in a Chevy. So make a date today to see the USA and see it in your Chevrolet.
Wow, the kiss. You loved it. I love it too. It's amazing. Yeah, it would stand out from all the advertising break. Definitely. It was voted top 5 most iconic jingle ever by Ad Age, and campaign was resurrected a few times, but the sales weren't that good because the cars were terrible. But see the USA in a Chevrolet, you will remember it by tomorrow. So I have 3 minutes, but I will speak for 5. They allowed me to. Sorry, but I have to tell you so many things, and still I have 30 slides. Seeing negativity is not feeling negativity. This is the lesson that I've been finding my whole life with clients, because anything negative is bad considered in advertising. And let's go way back in time and see an amazing example how showing negative kind of things and emotions doesn't evoke negative emotions. Orbex, department store, they're doing their back-to-school campaign. And usually, how do you see back-to-school campaigns? Everybody's happy. Children are so happy buying these backpacks. This is nonsense. Most of the children hate the school. At least in my era, everybody hated the school. You want to have summer forever. You don't want to go to school. And this is, I don't know if you see the words, but it says, we regret to inform you, your school stuff is ready at Orbex. And the kid is very unhappy. This is real life. I love it. This is what advertising should look like, I hope. And also, make them laugh. God damn it, we are really weak on laughs. Today you will see, I hope you will see some ads from Thailand. This will make you laugh, and they know how to crack a joke, but there's universally, throughout the world, there's less and less, it was measured by the way, there's less and less humor in ads, because we are so afraid to offend anyone. Humor is the best way to feel something, right, when you watch the ad. Chivas Regal. It's hard to keep a bottle of Chivas Regal whiskey around the photographer's studio. They're drunks. That's what the ad says, Of course, today it will be, lawsuits and canceling. Or other ad from the same agency, DDB, back in the 60s. One sip and you can write your own soft whiskey ad. And there's, just sip it and write. Amazing, I love it. You don't have to say anything. Just the bottle, write it yourself. Okay, a few examples, and then I will stop. Promos are a nightmare, right? Promos are a nightmare. They're intense, they're same-ish kind of. But there was a guy called Howard Lagosage, and he was believing that you actually, if the ad has any good, it should be run once, and it will achieve all the results. Amazing times, right? Once, you show ad once. Think about the banner impressions. What, in Poland you get like trillion banner impressions for the last campaign? Doesn't make anything. So Qantas is airlines from, at that time, is once again 50s. Qantas is airlines from Australia, and they want to establish that they are the best ones to fly from New York to Australia, or from LA to Australia. I don't know exact flights, but they want to say Qantas equals flights to Australia. That's it. So they devised to have a promo, create a name for some of their products. Doesn't matter actually for which ones. But this is an ad they run, and this was an actual promotion. Be the first one in your block to win a kangaroo. So the actual kangaroo was up for grabs. Second place was stuffed panda, and then boomerangs. But the actual kangaroo, I don't know, I think it was donated to the zoo. I know it's shocking these days, yeah, but 1950s. Let's not copy the promo. Let's copy promo mechanism, not the prize. So imagine this ad ran only once, got 7,000 answers. People sit down, wrote the answer, created something, wrote their name and surname, cut it out, went to the box somewhere on the street and put it in. For us these days, even to push a like, it's to click like a heart. Sometimes, I read something amazing happening with my friends, and I'm like, no, not worth it. So imagine people doing that out of one ad. And the subsequent ad was when there was a winner. The kid, I love the slogan, New York child wins kangaroo, her first. So that was New York child winning this. Also, respect your audience. Sainsbury's, we don't have Sainsbury's, I believe, in our countries, and it doesn't matter. Supermarket chain in 80s. You can see the slogan. I love it. Those of you who drink wine instantly get it. Those of you who skip the wine think this is what's happening here. But instead of just saying, we have cheap wine, everybody does that, you find a way to make audience feel smart about it. You read and think, oh yeah, I get it, but my colleague here sitting definitely doesn't get it. So I won't explain to you. Either you get it or you don't. Okay, and one more. This I will skip, sorry. Emotions obliterate rationality, always. There's so much data on that. More and more, we are emotional humans, you know that very well. Rationality is overrated. We buy houses because we like, I don't know, the place, but not because it's rational. We buy cars because we just kind of like it. Maybe we like even logo. Maybe we like the feel, but we overpay for the cars and then post-rationalize. Oh yeah, because it's a quality thing and so on and so forth. No, we buy on emotions, and we actually sometimes we're so angry with the audience because they cannot explain properly why do they make this decision, because it was unconscious. I just like the color, I don't know. It's a stupid answer, And when you sit down in research groups and ask, they have to somehow pretend that they have a rational answer for that. So this is Sony. Back in 1987, they introduced and changed the world, actually, by introducing the Walkman, Sony Walkman. Some of you might even remember that thing. I remember that thing. It changed everything because it was the first time you can carry your music with yourself privately, You listen to the music, you go wherever you want. It's crazy. It's amazing. So many things to tell. And they decide to run this ad where nothing much happens. They talk Japanese because so we don't know what they're talking about, but just look at this ad and you will see. Emotions sell everything here. Nothing happens. Yeah.
When I hear the wind, it brings me whispers from far. My hoping eyes, dreaming heart.
音が進化した。人はどうですか？新世代ウォークマン誕生。It's a Sony.
They even showed the price, and they talked about some specifics. We don't care. Mr. Horomatsu, this monkey, is, I believe everything he shows, The sound is good. Okay, the final example. Probably the final. Give your audience a good riddle. We are so afraid to not chew things up. The audience is stupid, or they don't pay attention. I still do believe they love a good riddle. Everything is too oversimplified and overexplained. We get the answers instantly. You meet the most amazing, I don't know, girl, guy, whatever, in the street, and you can probably find her or him on Instagram quite fastly if you know at least one person who knows. So easy. It doesn't, it haven't been like this always. So there's too much of everything ready at our fingertips. We are impatient, but I still believe we love a good riddle. So once again, let's go back in the old days. This is a whiskey brand called White Horse. This is a very bad name in Lithuania. I don't know if you have this connotation in Poland. When you drink vodka and you see white horses, do you have this? White houses? Mouses. All right. Okay, I never knew that. Nice. So yeah, so White Horse. Doesn't matter. In the UK, they don't have this connotation. There's a Scotch. They have to advertise. This is the ads that we're doing. It's retro, so it looks kind of okay. But they're sitting down and thinking, okay, how can we differentiate? How can we stand out from the market? There's a lot of competition. What should we do? And they have this craziest idea ever, which later inspired a lot of different famous campaigns. They say, first, we have the name, White Horse. So let's make this our mascot. Let's show White Horse everywhere. Second, let's dispense with the bottle. Let's not show the bottle. Let's not show the product. Let's not show the logo. Actually, let's forget about the slogans as well. People will somehow sort it out. Imagine yourself seeing this outdoor ad. It was possible for alcohol to be advertised without warnings back in the day. And so if you are a whiskey drinker, you get it, once again. If not, I can explain. Neat Scotch, so it's well-groomed, right? They have this wordplay. Neat Scotch is whiskey without ice, first of all. But also neat Scotch. Neat means, well-groomed, looked after, like this horse. Okay, so at first is what's happening on again. The more you see, the more you understand. Scotch on the rocks. No logo, nothing. Scotch and ginger. I believe there's some, cocktail. Maybe you'd like to drink more. Double Scotch. Or you have a drinking problem, large Scotch. And so on and so forth. So, what I'm trying to say, great ideas were forgotten. Let's dig them up. There's a lot to see, when you look back, there's amazing things that happened in advertising and so inspiring. For me, at this point, they are much more inspiring than the newest things. Some things just seem new to us, but they aren't because they've been done already. And something truly novel can be created by reviving and remixing the past. So, don't say what's new, we live on that, but say what's old. Let's look what happened before that. Always look back. And I will show you the final example. This was the Fairy, remember, the dishwashing liquid. They were #1 in the market, in UK market, for 30 years, and they wanted to celebrate that and to somehow show it, 30 years, #1 in the market. What do? Of course you say, old. 30 years, #1 market. Nothing to say, no news about that. Okay, and to finish it off, I have the one thing I want to ask to you. This is not mandatory, but so the thing I'm working right now is Anna. Anna is an information assistant meant to take all your information in and make it manageable, because I believe we have too much of things happening. It can be called like we are suffering from info obesity, right? Too much of everything. So Anna crunches it all out, presents in usable feed just the things that you are reading, your newsletters, your podcasts, so on and so forth. It's an early stage, but if you go to anna.news and download it and then write an angry letter to me, it would be fantastic. Guys, you were very patient. Thank you for that. And now enjoy the new things after me. Thanks.